this morning to this platform, Bethel Faith Group of Schools e-learning portals on the subject economics, the class of SS2 and SS3, those preparing for senior secondary school certificate examination. Today, we are continuing the topic we discussed or we started in the previous episode on this platform, and that is elementary theory of income determination. Elementary theory of income determination. Last time we talked about the circular flow of income, how money is generated, the flow of money from the household to the business sector. We said there are two major sectors in the economy. The household sector, which is also the private sector, if you don't like the personal sector, that is the family sector, and then the investment sector, or if you don't like the company, okay, sector. The money comes from the household to the business sector, where capital flows from the home to the business sector, and they are all flowing while the household provide the factors of production right into the investment process, factors of production such as land, such as capital, such as labor to the business environment. Then the business environment accept all these services, all these provisions, and then pay these factors of production in salary form, in wages form, and so on and so forth. So the money goes back to the household. Then the household on their own use the money that is generated, okay, from the sales of their factors, use the money to buy the goods and services which the investment sectors produced from the factors that they give, so that there is a flow in it, the micro and the macro economy put together, that there is a flow in income. That was what we talked about. And then we talked about savings also, the part of the income that is not expended, that is reserved. That is what we call savings. Today, we are continuing that. We're talking about investment. Investment. Investment is a part of income that is expended on physical goods, or that's expended on capital goods, if you don't mind. The part of investment that is, or rather, sorry, the part of money that is spent on physical assets that are not needed for immediate consumption, but are needed for the production of consumer or capital goods and services. That is investment. He said again, investment entails spending on physical assets which are not immediately needed for consumption, but for production of consumer or capital goods. Now, investment, we can, from what I just said, see it from two perspectives, two major perspectives to this investment. The amount of money that is spent in the production of free capital, that entails the machinery, money from building, factories, and all of that. And then number two, the money deposited in the bank, all right, from which it could be from which usage for production of other goods in the future could be gotten. These two perspectives are what we can get to what investment is generally at this level of economic knowledge. Now, investment can be of three types. Investment can be of personal type. Personal investment can be corporate investment. It can be governmental investment. Private or personal investment, the kind of investment that individuals have. Putting things up, setting things up to create more income, more revenue, in order to have more consumption, more satisfaction later from whatever is consuming. Now, if that is done at the individual level, it is personal investment. But if it is done at the company level, companies carrying out such activities, putting in their money into creating more companies or creating one or two facilities to have more income generation, That becomes corporate investment. And the last one, if government goes about doing things, building roads, building railways, setting up or installing electricity production plants, and so on and so forth. If government goes into any of these, then we call that government investment or governmental investment. Now, there are factors that determines investment in any normal state, in any fully functional state. Factors that determines investment. You have savings. The more you can save, the more an individual save, ideally, the more is able to invest. Number one, savings. Number two is the level of income of the individual or the company or the government. The level of income. The more income one receives, the more the person is able to save, and the more the person therefore has to invest. The level of income, where you have lower income, then you have possibility of lower investment. You have levels of income, then you have rate of taxation, you have rate of interest. Taxation, for instance, the more the government taxes its citizens, the more money is given over to the government in payment of the tax, the less the amount of money the individual has to invest. Alright? Now the other is the rate of interest. When you invest, or rather, okay, let's use this example, going to the bank to get the money for investment, the higher the rate of interest on the loan that can be given by the bank, the more people are discouraged from borrowing money for investment, so investment will consequently drop. Some of the factors that affect investment. Future expectation is another thing. When people reason and remember or get to expect a future rise in price of a particular commodity, more people tend to rush into the production of that commodity even now at the prevailing amount of such investment. So expectation of future rise is another factor. What about the business profit end? The more the profit one makes, the more it tends to invest. Even the business. We will not forget this, the political climate. Look at the country, a particular country. What is the policy of the government toward business? How does the government, what is government disposition to business, to infant industries, or to whatever industry? The more the government tend to encourage businesses, the more people are likely to go into investment, and the more investment they may want to make. These are some of the factors that determines investment. Now, having talked about investment, let's go to consumption. Consumption is the total quantity of goods and services. The total quantity of goods and services that are bought or used up by consumers. Another definition can say consumption is the destruction of utility. It is the usage of goods and services that are produced. That is consumption. The total amount of quantity, rather the total amount of goods and services that are used up, that are spent, whether money or whatever. Alright? That's what we call consumption. In relation to the income generated or the income earned. Now, it is expenditure on goods and services at a given period of time. Now, consumption can be of different types. Three major types. Consumption can be of durable goods, consumption of durable goods, non-durable goods, and then services. Consumption of durable goods, consumption of non-durable goods, and consumption of services. Now, factors that determine the level of consumption. Whether people consume more or consume less, use more of what they have or use less of what they have. There are factors that determine so. The more one decides to save, the less he will decide to consume. In other words, savings and consumption are inversely related. Why savings is decided, somebody decides to save more, then we have less to save. Not to talk more about that. The level of income. The more money you have, the more you are likely going to consume. The less amount of money you have, the less consumption you're likely going to have. Then availability of credit facilities. The more a particular retailer is willing to sell to a potential consumer on credit base, then the more that consumer obviously would like to consume because he can get it on credit base. Now, what about the rates of taxation? Still applies from what you explained in investment. If the government tax more income, more of the income of the consumer now have less to spend. Okay? The consumer now have less to spend. So consumption reduced. Then the future expectation is another thing. When you hear that petrol price want to increase, for instance, in a country like Nigeria, people tend to buy more. Even if they are not consuming now, but so long as they are purchasing, we see it as increase the consumption in its vivo understanding. Okay, so there will be that effect on the economy. What therefore are the relationship between? Look very well. You are going to observe there is a difference between service, from what I've said so far, investment and consumption. The differences, there are some similarities, there are some differences, there are some relationship rather between income, between savings and between consumption. Number one, savings accumulates capital for investment. Savings, as you are saving, is giving you more capital for investment purpose. So that means when there is no savings, there is most likely that there will be no investment. No savings, no investment. As savings accumulate capital for investment. And then number two, investment creates employment. If investment really, which it does, creates room for investment creates employment rather. And that employment is what gives rise to income. When there is no investment, there will be no employment. And when there is no employment, income will not be there on the part of those that are the employees. So investment, income, they goes together. Then what we don't spend is what we save. As another relationship between savings, income and expenditure and consumption. What we don't consume is what we spend. So what we don't spend is what we save. That is, consumption is affected by decision to save. Consumption is affected by decision to save, and savings is affected by decision to spend. They are vice versa. You want to spend, then you will not consume more. Sorry, you will not save more. You will not invest more. You want to invest more, then you will not need to consume more. So they are interrelated. Income is made up of savings, investment, and consumption. Income is made up of savings, it's made up of investment, and it's made up of consumption. Now, something we like to do, we can use formula. What I've just said so far, we can bring it as formula. When we say in the elementary theory of income determination, from what I've said so far, we can say income is equal to consumption plus savings. At the same time, we can say income is the same thing as consumption plus investment. We can also imply that savings is equal to investment. Where Y in economics, national income or income determination always mean income. C always means consumption. S represents service. So, income is equal to consumption plus service. Income can also mean consumption plus investment. And if that happens, we say service also equals investment. These are the little, this is the little for my students that we can take for now on the elementary theory of income determination. But before you go, you are going to do this as your practicing exercise. You are going to, with the aid of a diagram, explain the circular flow of income on your own. With the aid of a diagram, explain the circular flow of income. And then number 2, try to differentiate between service and income using their factors or their characteristics. Differentiate between service and income. Number 3, state 5 factors each of service and income, or 5 features each. Then lastly, discuss 5 factors that determines the level of investment in Nigeria. Discuss 5 factors that determines the level of investment in Nigeria. Those of you in SS3, you must have to do these questions. You must have to pay attention to this topic. These are some of the areas where question comes in your senior secondary school certificate examination. Until next time we meet on this platform, Economics, I say remain good. Thank you.